Whoa, Terry, are you good today, man? I know we're doing the sideshow again, but something up. You look kind of different. I don't recognize you.
Well, if you don't recognize me, you should tread lightly.
Oh boy. Oh, the gig is up.
Yes, it is.
Official, folks. You can count how many people don't know who Heisenberg is on one hand. We're down to Marie and Walt Jr. and probably Holly and maybe a couple other. Hank is official.
Holly knows. She was the first to see the money, remember?
Oh, yeah. Show me the money, honey. Yeah, that is true. Welcome back to the Almost Sideshow, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adam. That is Terry. This is the show where we break down Breaking Bad. Down a Breaking Bad. Episode by episode. Hell yeah. Now we're at the episode, which was, from my understanding, the most watched episode of the entire franchise series. That is called Blood Money, which is episode 9. I pulled episode 9. Yeah, episode 9 of season 5. I have my notes thoroughly prepared in front of me. But yeah, this was a damn good episode. My wife's most common sentence this whole entire day was, "I cannot wait to watch Breaking Bad." So, which is very exciting stuff. So, I couldn't wait to watch this episode. Been thinking about it all day. And for the people out there, the haters, the doubters out there of me, I did not watch this early. I watched it. I got done with the episode about 45 minutes ago. So I stayed true.
We've been BSing for a half hour, so I mean, it's not like he's been doing anything else. So
okay, well, yeah, very true. We've been it's 8:30, and we usually film this at 8. Anyway, with that said, Terry, some blood money. We got some blood money on our hands. What are we doing with it?
Yeah, so I mean, similar to you, my wife was really excited for this episode, and I've watched through the whole thing a few times, but I watched it through myself. I binged these last 8 episodes really, really fast. Like 2 or 3 days, I was done with the show.
Didn't get it to digest them.
Yeah. And I watched this with my wife and was showing it to her, and we, for whatever reason, we stalled out after the train heist episode. And then Dead Freight, yeah. Then we went back and rewatched season 5 a few months later, just started from the beginning of season 5, just to be like, okay, we gotta get through this. And then we stopped after episode 8. And so the last thing we saw was Hank on the toilet seeing Leaves of Grass, and we stopped. And we keep on saying, why did we stop? And now she's like, how did I stop? If that's where I stopped. So she has not seen the second half of this. She has not seen these last 8 episodes. Well, now last 7 episodes, because she watched this one with me.
Welcome to Club, Cassie.
Yeah, and this is only my second time. And the first time was binging it in COVID. So, yeah, this is kind of trying to remember where it goes. And it's fun watching it, not only talking about it with you who hasn't seen it, but then watching it with someone who hasn't seen it too. And she hates not knowing what's going to happen. And so it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. It's awesome. We did get to see the return of something. The Doghouse. The Doghouse is back. The restaurant where he ate nachos, not hot dogs, which is kind of interesting. I vividly remember that having a conversation. Why isn't that a hot dog place? He's eating Mexican food. Like, what the heck's going on there? That makes no sense. But good to see the Doghouse.
Yeah. Well, there's a ton that happens in this episode, so let's get into it. Let's do it. Okay. Breaking Bad season 5, episode 9 is entitled Blood Money. Did Hank finally crack the Heisenberg case? Well, first step in finding out is stealing Walt's Leaves of Grass book and claiming a bad stomach to get out of the rest of the family function. He has a panic attack on the way home before taking a few days off of work and having all the Heisenberg files brought to his garage to go over them with the new lens of Walt being the link between it all. In the meantime, Jesse is trying to decide what he's going to do with his $5 million in blood money. Idea number 1 is to give half to Mike's granddaughter and half to the family of the boy Todd killed in the desert. Saul thinks it's a bad idea, and so does Walt.
Mm-hmm.
Walt brings his money back. Yeah, Walt brings his money back to try and talk some sense into him. He also lies through his teeth, probably unsuccessfully, because Jesse is pretty convinced that Walt had Mike killed. So Jesse instead ends up driving down the streets of the ABQ, throwing cash wildly like he's Jack Nicholson's Joker. Walt, when he's not lying to Jesse, is trying to live a normal life. He's out of the meth business, he's working the car wash, he's back to being a family man. But several things aren't letting him live in peace. His cancer is back, and he's secretly getting treatment. Lydia is back, asking Walt to help his replacements learn how to cook his meth the right way. Oh, and then there's Hank. When Walt realizes his Leaves of Grass book may have been found by Hank, he discovers a tracker on his car. He decides to check on Hank and confront him about it. It goes about as well as you would think. Hank starts the conversation by cold-cocking Walt. The puzzle finally fits for Hank. Then he threatens to put Walt in jail for the rest of his life. Instead of fully admitting everything, he reveals his returned cancer and asks that Hank drop the pursuit so he can die in peace. When Hank doesn't like that idea, Walt gives Hank a backhanded threat to be careful. So where do we go next? Well, all we know is in 9 months, the White Residence is condemned, the pool is a skate park, Heisenberg is spray painted all over the walls, the neighbor is shocked at the sight of Walt, but the ricin is still behind the power socket.
Damn you, Carol. We officially have a Karen.
Hello, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Nice to see you. Hi, Walt. How come everybody who drops a grocery bag always has oranges? That's what
I think it's just like has to be done, right?
It's a typical cliche thing. She hasn't. It doesn't even know how to spell orange, but she has them. Anyway, yeah. Where was I? This is the bummer thing. If we were doing the top 5 cold cocks in movie and TV, this would definitely be one of them. This was a great punch. It's a great punch. He pretty Hadoukened him into his garage door. It was great. Hadouken. Great confrontation between Walt and Hank here. One of the most anticipated scenes probably ever on TV, you would have to imagine, right?
You knew it had to come at some point.
At some
right?
point, and I think it had in my head like this had to happen at some point, and it played up kind of perfectly. It was it's so interesting to see. We've been watching 50 plus episodes of Hank having the upper hand. A lot of these inside conversations where Hank is kind of left in the dark, but Walt knows what's going on. And as an audience member, you know what's going on. And seeing the Leaves of Grass book getting taken, and Hank knows what's going on, and Walt doesn't know what's going on. That was refreshing. Hank's like, "You feel like this way all the time? This is freaking crazy." But yeah, he's having a panic attack, which is another thing. He doesn't handle stress really well, apparently, because that's the one weakness of him. But then seeing like the battle of wits again, this is kind of like they're both playing chess now, not checkers, with each other in that moment, trying to outsmart each other, trying to outmaneuver each other, and try to get the upper hand in those final moments of this episode here.
I don't even know if you could say that. All the cards just got laid out on the table.
Well, at first it wasn't like that until he left and he came back and he said, "I found this in my car. You want to explain this? It's the same exact tracker." And then that's where all the cards were out. They were clearly playing.
Closes the garage.
He's like, "I feel like I don't even know who you are anymore."
Oh, and he goes through the list, right? Like he's just going through. It's like it was you all along. You drove me into traffic. Yeah, I wrote him down as he was going. You told me Marie was in the hospital. You had my number.
It wasn't
killed those
Jesse
10
Pinkman.
witnesses. You bombed a nursing home. Like you lying toothless sack of shit. Like he just goes through. It's like it all makes sense that it's you.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be
It
you.
had to be you.
Like he even has a picture of the gas mask from his chemistry lab at his high school.
Yeah.
He's got the picture of the sketch of Heisenberg, which looks
Oh,
just like him. Like
it's a barrel. Roll it.
he's in rolling the barrel or picking up the barrel. You see, all of it makes sense that it's Walt. He just never saw it, and you could tell as he goes back. It's like it's him. It's been him the whole time. And as he just kind of goes through, and the look on Hank's face that entire scene of somewhere between stressed, pissed, and heartbroken. And it's just all
Stress
playing
is
out in
not-
that look on his face as he's watching Walt and watching how he's manipulating the situation. Like you can tell Walt walks into that situation, and when he walks in with the tracker, comes back in, like he's standing a little taller and looking a little different.
He's
And
Heisenberg
like
at that moment. Yeah.
he feels dominant over Hank. And you're right. He switches the switch into Heisenberg, and that's why Hank is like, I don't even recognize you anymore. And
Different sees him as Heisenberg now, which is crazy.
mhm, mhm. Oh, it's one of the best scenes in the whole show. And like you said, this is the episode 55. You knew this was coming, right? This was going to happen at some point. It had to. It had to happen at some point. And now all the cards are on the table. Hank knows. And I love how Walt is able to dance around it without actually saying that
Saying I did it.
it's true. But he kind of says it, but he doesn't. Yes, it's such brilliant writing.
He walks this fine line, like a trapeze artist, just kind of walking, treading that line ever so carefully, but without ever saying it. He's saying something without saying anything at all, essentially.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Good.
It's great. It's great. Well, yeah, I mean, so we're already into our
Best scene.
categories here a little
Yeah.
bit. Best scene. I mean, like we said, it's one of the best scenes of the show. But I had some other ones written down because there's so much going on in this episode. And one thing that you were talking about before we got on that you forgot to mention up top is when this episode came out.
Oh, yes. So I forgot about that. I usually say the air date, and this is kind of a key thing. This episode aired August 11th, 2013, a full year from season 1 of this season episode. So there was about 11 months gap between 8 and 9. What is this, Yellowstone? Like, what's going on with that? There's a huge ass gap. It's crazy.
Well, and it's funny because they build this as part 1 of season 5 and part 2 of season 5. But you're right, they split it over a year and took a year off in between. And you mentioned how this was one of the most watched episodes of
Yeah.
the entire show. And I
Makes
think,
sense.
if I remember right, I wasn't watching the show live when this all went down, but if I remember right, everyone in that year discovered it on Netflix and
Ooh,
got
good,
caught up.
good.
And then so when Blood Money came out, all of a sudden everyone knew what was going on.
But me.
And me.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's good point.
and they were ready for it. And I remember
Chomping on the bit.
2013, it got to a point where like there was like the season premiere of SNL that year had Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul on promoting the last episode. Like this was this became the cultural phenomenon. This show that barely made it out of season 1 was all of a sudden this cultural phenomenon, and it's because they took their time with season 5, and everyone got caught up on Netflix.
Smart. And there's a bit, and Breaking Bad has become like again a cultural phenomenon where a lot of movies have ripped off it. Like even like Disney did like a little parody of a guy in a jumpsuit making these like essentially drugs, since it was Zootopia. And like Dumb and Dumber 2 had Bill Murray playing Ice Pick in the second Dumb and Dumber movie. Ice Pick basically making blue rocks, essentially being Heisenberg in the apartment. It's like it's been replicated, but not. It's been duplicated, but never replicated. I guess that's the better way to put it. You can basically pay homage and tribute to what a great show this is, and it's proven to be such an awesome show as we get deeper into this sideshow. Quite frankly, this is probably one of the best shows that I've seen, just based on a character development standpoint. Like I there's a lot of great shows I've watched, and I'm more of a movie guy, but at the same time, it's hard to argue how awesome Breaking Bad is. So,
well, and what Cranston and Paul are able to do,
yeah,
and how they develop these characters over these 5 seasons is pretty remarkable. You're right. It's such a great show. It's such a rich show, and the fact that we're here in season 5, like you look at some shows that die off at the end, and this is just ramping up. Todd claims that these last 8 episodes are 8 of the greatest episodes in TV history, and this one, I mean, you see where we start off, and this idea that even though when we talked about it last week, right? Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in, and he just can't get away from his past and what he had been doing. You've got Lydia tapping him on the shoulder. Saul's still calling him. The cancer's back. Now Hank knows, and he just wanted to live out his days in peace, and now he's stuck, and he's going to have to get right back into everything, potentially, to try and figure out where to go.
Well, that's a great segue to say what my best episode, like B episode, or best scene, I meant not best episode, but best scene would be the confrontation at the car wash with Lydia showing up. Okay, 68%. This is not what I agreed to. I need you to come back for at least for a week, get like a crash course or something like that. And Skylar's like, "Who's that?" That was a business associate. She asked me to go back, but I am not going back. And Skylar's like, okay. And then Skylar's back, baby.
You see fun Skylar back, yeah.
Skylar's back, baby. You stay away from. I loved it that she's like, don't dry this car off. Leave the water spots that I just get paid. She just paid to get them off. I love it.
Who gets a car wash on a rental?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was a rental, but that's a great eye by Skylar. And then it ends with the conclusion of like, hey, we're never gonna be able to launder all this money. Let's buy another car wash. I kind of like this place over here. I like the location. So that's kind of good. They're on this, like, clicking on the same page. It's been and they've confirmed it's been several other months after the events of well, actually no, hold on, we got to back up. They say it's been a couple months, but forget it was about 3 months, so they've been probably back together for a couple, probably 3 or 5 months after.
They did 3 months. It was about 3 months where Walt accumulated all that and was working with Lydia solo. We don't know how long it's been since he stepped away.
I'm thinking when he gave Jesse the money, obviously that was kind of like, I stepped away at this point. He says to Jesse that I've been out for a month.
Okay, so
it's probably been about 4 months he's been out of the game, and going from there. I don't think Jesse realized that he was actually out.
Well, yeah, he completely like went incommunicado.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a great scene. I had that one written down. Another one I had written down is the Walt and Jesse scene.
His little slight look at the camera too.
Jesse's
slight look.
Jesse just is like, you can tell he knows Walt is full of crap, and he's not going to tell him the truth, and he can't trust him because he knows he knows Mr. White, yo. And he knows he wouldn't be relaxed the way he is if Mike was still out there. Like that, just the way
I
he
love it.
reasoned through it. And it's like, he's got to be gone, or else you would not be this calm.
Jesse, I need you to believe me. Your Jedi mind tricks won't work on me. That's what Jesse's thinking to himself. Actually, he's probably a Star Trek guy. Probably dive into that later. He's not a Star Wars guy.
Maybe that's why he wasn't participating. Maybe he's a Star Wars guy, not a Star
Maybe
Wars
he is secretly, yeah.
Yeah.
But that is such a great scene, though, and his slight look at the camera. And I had to rewind this because it sounded like he said, after he said, "I need you to believe me," and he's like, "Yeah, like you said, Mike's alive." I thought he said, "It's a lie." I had to rewind it twice to see what he actually said because it sounded like it's a lie. And I'm like, wait, what? He just called him out. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's
good
great stuff. Yeah. So good. So good. Okay. Couple other things I had. Hank trying to get home. Like his panic attack. Like that whole sequence was like great work in this episode by what's his name? Dean Norris, yeah. He's just awesome. Everything from like struggling to get out of the bathroom to to driving the car to the last scene. He's just on fire.
And he looks cut too, like in like the final scene with Walt. Like he looks in good shape. Yeah, he looks in really good shape in that scene. Not shaven, but he looks in good shape. But anyway, that's a good scene too.
And then the last one I had written down is the return of Skinny and Badger.
Yeah, it's been a long. It's been over a year and a half.
It's been a little while.
It's been a while.
But it's so great to have him back. Which leads me. Did you have any other best scenes?
The whole going to the house at the beginning was pretty ominous. Like that was surreal. Because now you know where it's going to go at some point. Now that this rabbit hole has been, Hank has gone down, and now he's going after Hank, or not? And he's going after Walt.
Yeah, so you know it ends with everyone. Everyone knows who Heisenberg is.
Yeah,
and just where the house ends up is wild. But yeah, okay. So the Skinny Badger stuff leads me to my Ken Wins Bogdan douchebag of the episode, which obviously has to be Chekhov for cheating in the pie eating contest. Like that's a douchey move to do, and he gets what was coming to him. He gets what was coming to him.
Yeah,
because because Scotty got distracted by those pointies on Uhura. So
those pointies on Uhura. What's funny is we just had our Pinots, and the only time I was thinking about Anton Yelchin when he was talking about and how awesome Yelchin would have pulled that scene off, the pie eating contest. He's by far one of the best parts of the Star Trek movie. He's one of my favorite young gone too soon actors. But yeah, I was thinking Anton Yelchin the entire time. But also, of course, that goes hand in hand with I was thinking of Zachary Quinto and then Carl Urban and Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana, like that whole 2009 cast. A very underappreciated movie out of Pinos, but it's a good solid cast there. But Yelchin would have. I would have loved to see him in a pie eating contest to see how that would have looked like.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
He would have been Joey Chestnut if it was a biopic. I can see it.
I can't.
No.
All right, who's your? Yeah, it's just it's such a great scene. Like those guys having them and them just riffing off each other again, and just.
I wonder how much stuff is improv.
Oh, it's got to be most well, I don't know. Those are some pretty elaborate conspiracy theories there. Like, what's more realistic that you have the Skinny and Badger guys? What are their names here? Matt Jones, Charlie Baker.
Yeah.
Are enough Trekkies that they could come up with that stuff on the spot. Well, they did the same thing with Star Wars earlier, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a little bit, and they also did zombies with like Left 4 Dead zombies and Call of Duty zombies.
Or is Vince Gilligan that much of a nerd that he would write that stuff?
I think they all
This is
are.
the question.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's good stuff.
It is interesting.
Good stuff.
All right. Who's your Ken wins Bogdan?
Could be Carol. Could be Carol's is in complete disbelief. Actually, no. Those skateboarders could be up there, beginning of the episode. So the cameraman is getting some great angles. But I think it's Hank in this one, for Hank specifically for the Schrader Barrel logo.
It's a great logo. It really is.
It is, but it's so goofy. Yeah. That's well, you're kind of right though. Chekhov is a great pick. I didn't even go that way. That's a good one.
Well, thank you. All right.
What's it? Francesca, the receptionist too.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of
she's always great.
She's great.
I mean, she has to be a slight douche if she's gonna work for Saul. So,
which also has to be a slight. But also you can say Jesse is because he lit up freaking, the devil's lettuce in a closed space with kids, and he was like,
in here.
Yeah, you can't smoke. Really, dude?
I got a breathing problem. He didn't say that, but that's what he was thinking.
Dude, the microphone picked it up loud and clear in this episode.
The Pinkman Stickman Award for this episode goes to
Woody Harrelson.
That's a great one. That's a great one. I got a better one. It's Enrique. Feliz cumpleaños, Enrique. I mean, it's his birthday, man.
Wait, what?
This is the guy, one of the workers at the car wash.
Oh yes. Okay. I
you know, it's an A1 day for Enrique.
I couldn't get. I'm like, oh my god, what cheesy corporate bullshit are they saying right now? It's an A1 day. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, Enrique. You know.
He's getting lucky on his birthday. If it's one time a year, he'll get lucky. Good call. I like it.
Best new face. Hey, that's Danny Trejo. What?
I don't have a new face here. I don't have a new face.
Oh, well, I went with Carol.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's low hanging fruit there.
It's the only episode she's in. I looked on IMDb.
I'm surprised they didn't get the neighbor that they called to go into the house with the hitman in there. Yeah, that'd been interesting.
So I looked her up on IMDb. She's been in 2 movies or two shows. She's been in 2 episodes of 2 different shows. But she was originally like a host of a local morning show in Arlington, Texas. Like, I don't know where Vince Gilligan found this lady and decided, you know what, you need to be just the next door neighbor that drops her bag of groceries.
You can water plants.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe he remembered her from seeing her on TV as a kid or something, and like, I want you. I have a little part that I need an old lady for.
You were great in Good Morning Vietnam as the radio host. You could be this part, yeah, or something like that. That's interesting. It's kind of like that lady who played in the other episode, the mom. Who was that lady? I don't remember. So she only played in this in like in one movie.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I mentioned, yeah. Anyway, that's crazy. I love it. Little bit parts like that.
I have a couple others, but they're gonna come up in my minor characters. So the old Joe Gomi minor character of the episode. You go first.
The massage therapist. Your barn door is open.
Min Yi. That was one of my that was one of mine too.
That's totally not
Debbie Parker.
Well, definitely not a stick man for Saul in that moment. Getting a happy. Well, who knows? It's to be interpretation for what kind of massage that was, but yeah.
Yeah, she'd done a few. Like, she just had small parts in like 11 movies. Or 11. She had 11 small parts, but she also was on 5 stunt crews.
Oh, wow.
for movies. Like she was on the stunt crew for Vegas Vacation and The Shaggy Dog of all things.
What, the Tim Allen movie or the
the Tim Allen movie.
Wow.
And then
So she's like the David Leitch of
1990
massage
Clint
therapist.
Eastwood movie, The Rookie.
Oh, Clint. Oh, yeah. That's not the Dennis Quaid movie. I take it.
No. Clint Eastwood and Charlie Sheen and Raul Julia.
Oh, that sounds like awesome. Come to the stable material right there.
Yeah. Veteran detective is assigned a rookie partner after his previous partner is killed by a car theft gang. He is determined to apprehend those responsible for his friend's death, but his new partner isn't really up to the task. Interesting. Tom Skerritt is in it. Laura Flynn Boyle. Xander Berkeley. He's always fun to see and stuff. Yeah. And it's written by Boaz Yakin. Well, I recognize that name too. What else did he write? Oh, he directed Remember the Titans. So written by the director of Remember the Titans and directed by Clint Eastwood.
All right. Pitch that for Come to the Stable.
I'll have to pitch that one for Come to the Stable. Chances are Todd's probably seen it. Okay. So since you said Minnie for your minor character, I'll go with the other one that was the new face, and that's the homeless man, played by Wayne DeHart. Just a great look for a homeless man. It was he played the part well, and he had that very aged face.
I kind of want the remake to have David Alan Grier as that character.
Yeah, that's not bad. Or there's that one old guy that like popped up in like every music video, like rap R&B music video of the 2000s. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Not the guy from Six Flags commercial, right? No, definitely way too old. No, I don't know who. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to talk. Later.
I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, he looked like him.
I don't know that one.
Okay, The Cow House. Dumbest thing said.
Okay. Well,
that wasn't said by Skinny or Badger. No.
Yeah,
because they had some good stuff.
Yeah, colors. He came up the color Xerox. The Star Trek script featuring a blueberry pie eating contest, which is ridiculous. Her big pointies. I think the dumbest thing said is from Walt at the car wash. Does bubblegum belong anywhere near Ocean Spray? Like, we should put Pine as our highest seller. We need to put that by the checkout stand. We need to totally. How's the markup on those? Those air fresheners.
And he's saying it 100% seriously.
Yeah, and then not ironically, but I think it's also funny that it's like Marie said, "Do we really need air fresheners?" Which is funny. Like she went like, "We don't need these," and Walt's like having this completely serious conversation about air fresheners. So that's what I have.
And Walt's getting into it. It's good. Yeah, that's good. A couple other Badger and Skinny moments. The whole talk about why Bones doesn't want to be beamed. He's a doctor, bitch. It's science. Or Spock, he has Vulcan control over his digestion.
I don't think that's how logic works. No.
And then you got Saul, Woody Harrelson live in person.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe my favorite one is Walt asking Skyler, "Did Junior take my copy of Leaves of Grass? Are you kidding?"
Are you kidding? That's a good one.
Yeah. I like that one. One. But yeah, when Skinny and Badger are in the episode, I
got excited when I saw Matt Jones' name pop up in the opening credits. Like, yes, he's in here.
I wasn't paying attention enough to notice the opening credits.
I paid attention.
All right. Did you find any problems or anything outdated you want to shout out?
$14.95 for a car wash. That's not really good margins. You're paying workers to wash the car. You have to be washing a lot of cars to be making a profit, I would think, right?
Yeah, probably.
So that's one thing I really picked up. This was it's these episodes are getting harder to really focus on the negative.
Seriously, it just to pay attention that much to find a flaw.
They actually did. They did time this. When did 5 Hour Energy come out? That's a good question.
Ooh,
because that's when they timed it. It's like we could put the Pine air pressures next to the 5 Hour Energies.
And why is 5 Hour Energy something you just put in at the checkout stand of a car wash? I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I feel like 5 Hour Energy's been out for longer than that though. So
probably has, yeah. 2004. Yeah. But
yeah.
It's weird that's what like it's at a car wash to begin with. And what makes it even better is if you have so much 5 Hour Energy, how come you're not laundering with that? You're doing Coke products with a Pepsi product also. We've already talked about the messed up on the sodas, but still.
Yeah.
It's kind of
fun. All right. Midlife crisis moment.
We're talking about Hank here using your stomach issues as excuses to get out of stuff. It's like, I don't feel good. My stomach's really tore up right now. I can't do it.
I'll be honest, I haven't faked that before, but I have had to use that several times at different times.
Well, yeah, faking it, but I'm saying it as like maybe I was speaking as faking it, but I'm like also, yeah, stomach issues are a real thing. Using the stomach issues as an excuse to get out of stuff because it's legit. Like my wife's like, "Hey, honey, I can tell your stomach's really." I was like, could you tell?" I was like, "Yeah, you've been using the bathroom a lot." I was like, "Oh yeah, no kidding." Yeah, that happens. Good stuff.
Yeah. My midlife crisis, I've got it's hard to enjoy something that doesn't happen the right way. And so like Jesse with the cash, right? He can't enjoy it. He doesn't know how to enjoy it because it got to him the way it wasn't supposed to, right? It's blood money. And I have those moments, and I'm sure you do too, where it's like the way I thought of it is I want someone to think of doing something on their own, but if I have to tell them that I'm not happy anymore when they do it.
Oh, you're a parent.
Yeah, right. And a teacher.
Oh, even better, yeah. The double whammy. And your wife's listening to it's like, oh, and I'm married to him. Yeah. I know my wife could say, I wanted you to do this because I wanted you to want to do it, but I'm asking you to do it.
Yeah. It's like I want that to be a a surprise you think of, not a surprise I have to tell you.
Remind you of.
That's kind of what I thought of when I was watching Jesse with the money. It's like, well, I don't want it now.
Yeah. I wanted it before, not now.
You ruined it for me.
Oh, and another thing you could say too is saying stuff in an argument that you don't really mean. I said it because I was upset. I was trying to win the argument.
Trying to win an argument.
Oh, dude, that's not the most relatable line of the episode for any couples out there. Oh, lordy.
That was a good one. That's a good one. All right. LVP.
Lydia and her new crew of 68 percenters.
Yeah, that's not good.
68%.
Not good.
68%. This is basically what the checks were doing before. They were doing 60.
Yeah. My LVP
Todd is not doing a good job. So Todd technically is probably cooking something. I'm assuming. It's not doing good.
My LVP is Hank's lackeys.
Yeah.
Hey guys, aren't you still on the clock?
Yeah, that was my boss coming out. I was like, I have done that before. Hey, you clocked in yet? Let's get to work. Let's go.
Yeah.
Stop chit chatting.
All right. MVP. I mean, my MVP, it's Hank. Like, he owns this episode. Dean Norris I already said it, but it needs to be said again. This is his time to shine, this episode, and he does.
How did he not get an award for playing this character ever? It's another weird one.
So good. What about you?
Hank's a good one, but to be somebody different, I'm gonna go with Skylar. I'll say Skylar. It's just kind of like not nearly as good, but she definitely kind of holds her own. It's like, no, I'm not gonna. I just got Hank Walt back. I'm not gonna let him go. But the right answer is Hank, and that's the one who should be the MVP here, pretty obviously. But yeah.
Cool. All right, we're gonna talk about what's next, but first, the Walter White body count.
Do we have anything added to it? Let's see.
No, I didn't add anything to it. So it remains. I didn't really think there could be anything, but I thought.
Well, unless you like kind of ruins your brotherly friendship with your brother-in-law, something like that. But that's kind of wordy.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it. So
yeah,
it stays at 1 Emilio, 1 Crazy 8, 1 Ken Wins Car, 1 Custodian's Career, 1 Tuco Hideout, 1 Lock, 1 Uneaten Burrito, 1 Paper Towel Holder, 1 Backdoor to Jesse's House, 1 Love of Jesse's Life, a few burnt $100 bills, 1 Pepperoni Pizza, 1 Career in Education, 1 Meth Making RV, 1 Beginning of a Galeful Friendship, 1 Fly, 2 Kid Killing Drug Dealers, 1 Gail Bedecker, 1 Fateful Bottle of Wine, 3 Laundry Worker Jobs, 1 Walter Jr. Dream Car, 1 Pinkman Living Room, 1 Great Aunt Birgit, 1 Secret Underground Meth Lab, 1 Gale Special Coffee Maker, 2 Nameless Henchmen, 1 Tyrus, 1 Hector Salamanca, 1 Gustavo Fring, 1 Room Full of Evidence Using Magnets, bitch, a bunch of insects, 1 Sanity of Skylar White, 1 Kid on a Dirt Bike, 1 Zip Tie Around His Wrist, 1 Mike Ehrmantraut, and 10 Imprisoned Legacy Loose Ends. And the Jesse ass kick count remains at 9.5, which means he gets his ass kicked every 5.8 episodes. So
I think we would have been better off counting up how many times he says the word bitch instead of getting his ass kicked.
The bitch count. That would have been good.
The bitch count. Let's go. Tabulate that.
Oh man, yeah. we got to go back.
That's got to be a list. That's got to be a list somewhere. We probably should look that up at some point. That's good. The good list stuff. Okay, what's happening next?
What's happening next episode and over the next 7?
Well, I could only imagine that Hank is going to turn into Marie by telling Marie about Hank or about Walter. I would imagine, sharing the latest gossip. I think the clear thing for Hank to do now is go after Jesse to see what the hell is going. Try to get to Walt even further because that's an accomplice. Could be an accomplice, right? So I think there could be a scene where Hank is talking to Jesse about that, and maybe that kind of opens up his eyes a little bit more to Walt. Jesse open up his eyes more to Walt too, and maybe even puts more of a. I think Jesse cared about Mike to a way more. Well, I say that. Back up. I know Jesse and Walt definitely cared. They were partners for a very long time. They had that father and son relationship for a long time. But there's too many red flags now that Jesse is seeing that relationship is definitely probably not as repairable as it probably once was. Based off now that you had killed somebody that he really did care about. That was a completely like unbroken, unfaltered relationship that Jesse did have. Because obviously we know he doesn't have a good relationship with his father, so he latches on to some of these fatherly figures that are in his life with Mike and Walt. And so I think with kind of things that are happening, and he's going to choose, like, I care about Mike a little bit. Maybe he goes and tries to figure out what happened to him, and then maybe that even brings up. I don't know. I don't know if this will ever happen, but does the stuff get brought up with Brock again? Like that kind of stuff with the possibility. I just think, or that's going to be a complete like loose end possible shred down. We'll see. Also, it'd be interesting to see if there's an interaction with Todd and Walter about the cook again. But yeah, even if he's doing that, and I'm assuming if it is Todd doing, I guess his uncle or something would be doing. Would it be Declan that took over with, or is it going to be Todd's family? That's a question that I'm assuming would probably who's doing this new cook. My mind immediately went with Todd because of previous scenes we've seen before. We've seen Todd cooking And if he walked away, the likely person to start doing that is Todd. So who knows if that's we'll probably get, that's something I would imagine would get kind of an answer to at some point. And seeing what happens, who is he taking the rice into? That's another great. That's whoa! I didn't even think about where the rice was going. I would have to give it to Carol after the reception I just got from her. Yeah, that's that. I need to watch another episode to figure out where that ricin goes. I don't have an idea where that's going yet. He went back to the house for a specific reason to get that ricin, which miraculously is still there. But anyway, the ricin lives. No, but yeah, I need to watch another episode to see where that goes. I'm not sure where that's headed yet. So, but generally, that's kind of thoughts that have come through my head, are like what's could happen next.
You got some good ideas.
They're always good, but are they actually good? That's the thing. Do they come to fruition?
Find out.
We shall see.
We shall see.
We shall also see in the next couple of weeks. We have 7 episodes left.
Yay!
No. Sad. Happy tears. Yeah, exactly. Really sad to almost get to the final countdown of the show. I'm kind of nervous now. I am. I'm nervous to what happens to our favorite characters here. The one thing I know for certain, Holly's safe, because would they kill a kid here? What is this, Game of Thrones? No, they're probably not going to kill a kid. But anyway, looking forward to seeing what hell.
They've killed kids. They just haven't killed a baby.
Okay, that's a great point. A baby. That's the Game of Thrones thing to do. A baby. Anyway, this is not Game of Thrones. This is AMC. Much better TV that didn't go downhill, went uphill, actually. Breaking Bad. We will be breaking it down next week, where we're breaking down more Breaking Bad with Terry and Todd.
Breaking Bad
with Terry and Adam. Todd's not here. Todd will probably appear at some point, but in the episode and in the podcast. I'm done. I'm rambling. I
agree.
Yeah. Okay. Terry, what do we do? Let's just wrap this up.
Yeah. Let's just end it while we're kind of on top. I've dug
my own hole.